Bluffing is an integral part of the game of poker. In its simplest form, a bluff is a bet or raise with a hand which is not thought to be the best hand. It's what makes the game so interesting. Does your opponent really have a big hand, or are they just pulling off a big bluff? Here are the most important reasons to bluff. To win pots you would have lost otherwise. To make your opponents wonder if you really have it. And to put pressure on your opponents. The first reason to bluff is both very obvious and very important. Bluffing allows you to win pots even if you have a weak hand that would have otherwise lost.
Raise.
It's pretty hard to make a good hand in Hold'em. If you always fold your hand when you don't hit anything, your opponents will pick up a lot more pots than you do. The second reason is important for when you actually do have a very good hand. If you never bluff, everyone will know when you have something if you better raise.
I just see your soul.
When you have pocket aces, you don't want everyone to fold, do you? The third reason to bluff is to put a lot of pressure on your opponents. Some of them will crumble and be very intimidated. They will react passively and will fold a lot of better hands. Other players might get upset, play badly, and throw away their chips. Now that you know why to bluff, we're going to show you how to bluff. Look for signs of weakness and attack. Don't bluff if there are too many other players. Bluff to represent a hand. Play it as you have it. If your opponent is weak, it's much easier to bluff them off the hand. Therefore, you should look for signs of weakness and attack if you spot them. You should also try to bluff if you only have one opponent, for this simple reason. The more opponents you have, the more likely it is that at least one of them has a good hand. The last way to bluff is to represent a hand. Let's take a look at an example. Here you've got King-Queen, and have called an under-the-gun pre-flop raise, so you can assume that your opponent has a strong hand. The flop is 7-Jack-10 with 2 diamonds to give you an open-ended straight draw. Your opponent bets, and you call. The turn is the 4 of clubs. They bet, and you call again. The river is the 6 of diamonds. You've missed your straight draw, but the river has brought all kinds of straight and flush possibilities to the table. Your opponent bets again. Now's your opportunity. It's extremely unlikely that your opponent has a straight or a flush, as they have bet throughout the hand. They probably have a high pocket pair, or maybe a set. Now you make a big re-raise, and unless they have a strong lead on you, they can't continue. You've represented the flush or straight, and you can win a nice big pot.
Recap. Now you know why you bluff and how to bluff. The 3 reasons why: to win pots you would have otherwise lost, to keep your opponents guessing, and to put pressure on your opponents. How to bluff? Well, look for signs of weakness and attack, avoid bluffing against too many players, and represent a hand. Follow these rules and your bluffs will be successful. Hopefully.